Hey, hello everyone. Happy Sunday. Hope you have all had a fantastic weekend. We are back tonight to do a little bit of Sunday night crafting, and welcome to everyone. I see you guys have been chatting a lot here tonight. The chat starts very, very early. The first person was here at 5:33, Donna. Goodness me, that's early. And then 6:07 for Margaret. But you didn't stay. Thank goodness. You did go off and have lives and then come back. Cherie says 40 minutes to go. Well, here we are. We're live now. Lovely to have you all. Let me have a little look. And I'm just going back to see if I've missed any questions or anything, or if anyone had any requests and I missed any of those. Hey, Shirley, I hope you're feeling better. Home for next Friday. Oh, that's good to hear. That's really good. Yeah, you don't want to be stuck in hospital too long. It's much nicer to be at home. All right. Okay, so as I always say every week, or try and remember to say every week, this is a negativity-free zone. So what we're going to be doing is focusing on all the good stuff. We're going to be focusing on creative pursuits and forgetting all that other rubbish going on out there in the world. Okay, so that is the plan. This is our little escape. So if you think of that, if you think of it like that, then that helps us all stay focused, and that way it's a nice place to be for everyone. Okay. Yeah, you were on earlier. I saw you there. Hi there, Jenny. Nice to see you. I'm well, thank you, Cherie. Thanks for asking. Yes, I had a good weekend. I had some downtime this weekend, which I desperately needed, so that was really good to have a bit of a rest. I'm reading a book, and I'm a very slow reader, very slow. So I do sometimes listen to audiobooks, but I do still like a good old-fashioned print book, and but I'm very slow. So it can take me sometimes, if I can't quite get into the book, it can take me years to read a book. And I started one right at the end of the year. I think it was either Christmas Day or New Year's Day I started. But it's a big fat one that my husband wanted me to read. And I think I'm a bit over halfway. And that for me is pretty good. So it can take a really long time. But it is an 800-page book. So I'm nearly up to 500. So there you go. Anyone else like to? Who else is a reader? I love to read, but I just wish I was a faster reader. I don't know why I'm so slow. I get distracted. I think it's my ADHD brain, probably. Not that I've ever been officially diagnosed, but there's a touch of that in there somewhere. And I think what happens is I read a paragraph and then I get distracted halfway through and my mind goes off somewhere else, and then I've got to reread the same paragraph to actually make sense of it. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm doing okay. All right, but we're not talking about books tonight. We're talking about crafty stuff, right? So what I'll do is I'll switch over to the desk, and I'm going to play with a couple of things tonight, some new stuff. Some of you may have seen on Friday night, we played with the new embossing folders. You can see, I hope you can see the texture on that there. So that's one of the new folders. We did that on Friday night. And then we also did, today I did a card that's got the 3 different folders. I don't know if you can see them. Can you see them, all the different textures? So you can see it when I hold it in the light like that. And it turned out really nice. I love different textures together. There's just something really nice about it. Hey, Margaret, how are you? We have lots of Margarets. Just do. Don't know why, but that's completely fine because it's a nice name. Yes, I'm very well, thank you. We are very well. So, yeah, there's nothing that says you can't mix up your embossing folders and show them all off. I think that's a nice thing to do. So that was a card I made earlier today and posted on my page, on my business page, and also on my Instagram. So some of you won't be going on here because you can't chat. Oh, you can chat here though, can't you, Jenny? Can you chat here? Huh. Interesting. You prefer YouTube. All right. Well, I'll have a look from my side and see if there's anything I can work out. Oh, Mike's out of hospital. Well, that's not good that he had the emergency surgery, but yay that he's out. That's fantastic. Good news. We like good news around here. All right. So let me grab, I'm going to pull in my phone, which has got my camera on it. I use my iPhone for my camera. And I also use it as my audio source. So let me see if I can get this to play nice tonight. All right, that's kind of looking right, but I need to straighten it up and get it in the right place. That's the only problem with having it. But I can't have it on because the light is so bright. I can't have it facing here when I'm talking to you guys, because I need to let me see, put that there. That's better. Trying to straighten it up so it looks right. Can everyone see that okay? Is that all right? All right. Okay. Yeah, the crosshatch seems to be very popular. I've seen a lot of people posting with that one, Donna. I personally, I think I like this one best. The one with the little flowers, or somebody said it looks like a starfish. But it reminds me of a quilted background, when you do machine quilting, and it reminds me of that kind of machine quilting look. So it's nice. It's nice. All right, so tonight I thought we'd play with something different. I'm going to start with some existing product to start with that is in our mini catalogue. Yes, this is my personal copy with all my little flags. I could probably take some of them off now. I just haven't. So I could take that one off because I've got that stamp set. But I've just left them there. So the one I wanted to show you tonight is the Fancy Flora suite. It's called Fancy Flora. And it has all these beautiful, soft, flowery designs on it. I had somebody say to me recently, why does Stampin' Up do so many flowers? And you know what? There's a really quick, easy answer to that. And that is because they're the ones everybody wants to buy. I think that is just, they'll always have flowers because people will always buy flowers. So it is a beautiful, beautiful set. It has 2 stamp sets, these 2, and 2 die sets. Okay, then there's the whole collection. You can actually buy all of it at once with just one code, but that's a lot. So if you didn't want everything in there, you can buy them individually. If you did want everything in there is one code for it. 160431, and it's $245.50. So that's only $4.50 off host benefits. If you're putting an order in that's over $250, you immediately get 10% of your order back in host benefits. So that suite actually gets you that almost all by itself. So yeah, it is a sizable suite. It has a lot in it. We've got the gorgeous iridescent pastel gems, which are my favorite embellishments right now. I'm using them almost as much as the iridescent rhinestones. So in fact, I would say probably since this catalogue came out, I've used them more, and that's because it's got the coral, the balmy blue, and the gold, which I can use on almost everything. So the balmy blue has got a bit of a touch of freesia about it, so it looks good with your blues and your purples. There's a lot that seems to have corally tones or pale papaya kind of tones, and the gold goes with everything else. So really, really useful. I've been using these a ton. The fine shimmer paper is beautiful. The Pool Party Grosgrain ribbon is lovely. I'll pull that out and show you it a bit. And then, of course, you've got the beautiful, absolutely beautiful Fancy Flora 6x6 paper, okay, which is whenever we have a suite, just something you need to know, possibly that you might not, is that whatever is the paper pack that's in the suite, that is where the suite gets its name. So these guys are called Two-Tone Flora. The suite this is the Two-Tone Flora bundle, which is the matching dies and the stamp set, but the whole suite, everything gets its name from the DSP. Okay, I don't know if did anyone not realize that? That's how that works. Yeah, it would be nice. Sometimes we do have the ones that at the moment that I think is kind of teenagery is the ones at the back. This stuff, the Enjoy the Rhythm set. My son he likes to think of himself as drummer, and he can play the drums, but we don't actually have a drum kit. He would desperately like one, but he doesn't have one. But he's doing a sound production course at college, or it's a private studio that runs a diploma in sound production, and so I had to get this set because it's very and even if someone's not especially musical, I still think the electric guitar and the musical notes still work really well for a teenage birthday card, even if they don't play the guitar. Okay, so if you were looking for a teenagey set, Donna, that's probably the first place I'd look, because I think it's really nice. But tonight we're not. Tonight we're doing this. And I have already cut this just to save a bit of time. This is the die, this big die here that is out of this set, and it is absolutely beautiful. Okay, and you can do quite a lot with it. You can use it as a piece in its own right. You can cut pieces out of it. You can cut individual elements out of it. You can use it as a stencil and like sponge over the top of it to make a beautiful design. So there's actually a lot you can do with it. I just wanted to show you that these are the dies. All right, so there are, always tells you how many dies here on the front. There's 9 dies, and there is the lovely big one. And then you've got all these other ones that cut out different elements of the stamp set. Okay, so these dies cut out the different bits of the stamp set, and then you've got this lovely big one as well. So it's kind of, obviously this doesn't match stamps. It's a standalone die, but there's a lot you can do with that. So I want to give you some tips about cutting this out. Yeah, most people enjoy music, exactly. And even if people don't play an instrument, they still, like you say, they like to enjoy music. And, you know, goodness knows my kids always seem to have AirPods in their ears or something like that. I want to show you a couple of things. First of all, this is what I would call a very intricate die. Okay, so let's have a quick look at it. It's very intricate. Lots and lots of cutting needs to happen. So when I put this through my cut and emboss machine, and you do need the larger machine, it won't fit through the little one. Okay, when you put it through, and in fact, for that reason, because we have this big die in this set, there is no mini symbol. See, there's a mini symbol here on these dies because there's none that are that big, but there's no mini symbol over here. So the fact that there's no mini symbol means there's at least one die in the set that does not go through the mini. So that's the reason why that doesn't have a symbol. But what's nice about this is that, well, let me just give you a couple of tips. I think this will be helpful. When I have a die that's super intricate like this, first of all, I run it through my machine forwards, and I bring it back again. And then I take it out and have a look. Without moving it off the paper, I have a little look at it, okay? And usually, something so intricate as this, quite often, it hasn't fully cut through in all places. So what I do then is I put it back in again, but I turn it up the other way. So the first 2 passes, I usually put it forward and back so it's facing down. And then I turn it up the other way so the paper's on top, and I run it through again, forward and back. Okay, and that difference in the way the plate goes through the rollers helps cut the whole thing really well. Okay, now having said that, even then sometimes this one is actually all pushed out. Oh, there's actually a couple of bits. I don't know if you can see. Let me pull them up here. There's a couple of little tiny bits up the top that haven't pushed out. Can you see that? So what you want to do is you want to have one of these. All right, you take your pick tool. Love, love, love this tool. There's been a lot of talk lately on, have you heard the expression a gateway product? What I'm talking about is it's a little bit, I guess, a bit like the analogy of a gateway drug, you know, something simple, something really light that people get hooked on. I think the Take Your Pick tool is probably one of our gateway products. This is one of the first things that people often buy. I did a little survey on my private Facebook page for my VIPs. I did a private little survey there a week or 2 ago asking what was the first product they ever bought. And we had a couple of people say that they bought the Take Your Pick tool. And the reason why, I mean, sometimes it's stamps, sometimes it's inks. But if you're going to buy stamps or inks, you're going to need to have more things. You can't just buy stamps by themselves. You need inks and paper, right? Whereas you can just buy one of these and think to yourself, I'll give that a try and see how it goes and see what I can do with it, because it has lots and lots of features. So this end has a putty end to make it easy to pick things up. So you can pick up all sorts of things with your Take Your Pick tool, all right? Just happen to have a bit of paper sticking there, and if I had, you know, embellishments on the table or something like that, then I can pick them up. Really handy if you've got like a little thing of sequins and you just want to pick one up. All right, super easy, rather than trying to get in there with your fingers and fiddle around trying to get the one you want. This makes it super easy. So that's the first rule of thumb, that's really handy. The other end, there's a pokey tool. or, you know, like paper piercing, that kind of thing. And I use it for all kinds of things. And if you switch it around, you can flip this around. It's got a flat tool here, like for chiseling under things or getting between things. Very handy little things. All right. Now, the other thing is it does also come with a couple of scoring tools that you can also use, and those flip around as well. Do I have one handy? I don't know. Yeah, here's one. All right. So this comes with it as well. And you can pull that out, and then this has got a fine point on this one. Lock it in. See the little lock symbol there? And then this one switches around, and that's like a medium point for doing like more heavy duty scoring, that kind of thing. So that's how this comes. It has a lid, and you can buy spare putty for it if your putty end runs out. You can replace the end, and that's great. But the one thing that I think is the most useful of all, and I always have one handy. Now I've said that, it won't be. You know why? Because earlier I had it on my desk, and Crumpet really, really loves my brush tip. He thinks that's the best thing ever, and just loves to be around it all the time. And then when I got it, he was here on my desk, I think he's either made off with it or somebody's used it on him, because quite often that happens. So what happens here is you pull this end off. All right, this actually unscrews, and then you put your brush tip in, and I'll show it to you. Oh, here it is. It's behind me. Right, so this one has already had the brush tip squeeze. It's got cat hairs in it. Don't look too closely. All right, so it just comes like this, and it also comes with these mats as well. Okay, so the whole idea of this is it's a die brush for getting out the little pieces that get stuck behind in your die. So, or your die cut, both actually. So let me just pop that back in there. All right, so what you can do is turn this over and give this a little run over with the brush, and that will get out any pieces that have been left behind. Can you see that? There's one left I didn't quite get, so I've just poked that out with my pokey tool. So if you have little pieces left in here, I turn it over to the back so I won't damage the brushes, won't damage the front of the design. And I do it from the back. I run it over, and any pieces, look, there's actually a couple I missed. Any pieces that are left behind will come out. Can you see we've got some little pieces here that just fell out just then, little bits that I hadn't noticed. So fantastic tool. Okay, really, really, really good. And if you are a die cutter, you do like to use your machine and die cuts, I thoroughly recommend one of these to you. They're in the annual catalogue, in case you're wondering, and up the back with all the accessories. If ever you're looking for the accessories, there's accessories index here, and I believe I'm not sure which one. Try here, 155. I don't, there it is. Yeah, 155. So there's your brush tip. Okay, and then there's a couple of extra putty tips. There's your take your pick tool with the little bits it comes with. And then they've got these little mats as well that go with the brush. It's the take your pick die brush tip. It's $15.75 for that attachment, and it comes with 2 foam pads. And the foam pads are 7 inches by 4.5, which is the size that I have right here. Okay, so so hopefully that's useful to somebody. They're really, really fantastic, and it might save you lots and lots of angst of trying to get all the pieces out of your die. Now, there is one other thing I recommend. After you've cut it, also run your brush over the actual die itself, not just the, and that's because some of the pieces get stuck in the die. I'll show you what I mean in a second, because we're not going to quite get all of these. All right, can you see I've just had some pieces fall out here? There's still a couple of little bits. So if you hold it up to the light, you'll see, like I can see there's a piece here. Yep. And the reason you want to do that, there's a piece there, is because if you have little bits caught in the die when you're using it, it will not cut as well as it should. Okay, and it makes it more difficult going to and fro in your machine. You might notice it's not cutting as well as you'd like, and that's because usually you have pieces left behind in the die from an earlier cut. So make sure that you get them out after you've used it or before you use it next time, and you'll have better success. I hope that's helpful to somebody. Some helpful tips. All right. Yes, very good for brushing fur babies. Exactly. Oh, really? Vacuum cleaner design for cats? That sounds expensive, Nicole. Oh, that's a great idea, Leslie. You have 2 now. You know what? I don't think I have, as you just noticed, I have more than one as well. And I don't think you can have too many, actually. I think they're just the most wonderful tool. And I don't know of anyone who's not been happy with their Take Your Pick tool. So certainly a great thing to get if you're looking at what do I get first. That's probably what I would recommend. All right. Let's move this out of the way. All right. So I'm going to be putting this tonight on a piece of on a basic white card base. So I'm starting with basic white, folding it. It's half a sheet of A4 cut in half and then folded in half again. And if you're using letter, same thing. You go half a sheet of letter and then cut that in and then fold that again. Okay, so same thing. Now you can see this is almost the right size. Because A4 is a bit longer than letter, you may find you need to cut it down slightly. Okay, you can see there I've got a little bit extra at the top. All right, so I'll come back to that in a minute. But first of all, what I wanted to do was bring in our beautiful fancy Flora paper, and let's have a look, because it looks absolutely beautiful. This paper is divine. It looks like it's, well, it is actually based on actual artwork and is absolutely beautiful. Sarah, our CEO, actually did a video just recently of how the paper was made. And if I can find that, I'll post that on either my page or my private VIP group in the next day or so. And just because I think it's such a great little video. So there's 4 sheets of each design. You see, I haven't used that one. I'm not as big on those colors. I mean, it's still quite beautiful, but I like the pretty colors, you know. Know what I mean? But these are lovely, and we can pick. The back of them have less detail. Okay, so you can pick a more detailed one that's got the brush strokes, or you can go with the back, and it's definitely not as detailed on the back. So I'm just going through and deciding which one I would like. That's actually quite nice. So let's have a look at a couple and see what they look like. If I was to put this under here, you can see some of the design. You can see the darker color and the lighter color here. And that looks really, really pretty. So that's a possibility. That's a contender. I like that one. What else do we think? Do we like that? So this has got blue and yellow underneath. So I'm actually on purpose picking some of the ones that are less detailed. I mean, you can use this, but when you put this over them, you lose a lot of that detail. So what I'm really after when I do this is some color, not so much the detail. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope it does. I mean, that's really nice. That's very pretty. Look at that. It's got blues and purples. Really nice, yeah. That's a possibility. And this is nice too. Oh, no, that's the same one. Well, I must really like that one. See, this one to me, this one reminds me of wisteria. I don't actually know what it's supposed to be, but that's what it reminds me of. I think it's really pretty. And it's actually quite nice because you've got, you know, no detail here in the middle. So that's actually quite nice too behind here. So I'll pull that one out. And let's have a look at this one. Just personally, I've got a preference for more of the color down the bottom. But that's nice as well. What do we think? Do we like the blue purple? That was this one, Kelly? Is that right? Is that the one you like? The blues and purples. Leslie says the same. Sure, Jenny. You just have to send me a request. So you go to the VIP group. It's let me put the banner up on the screen if I can remember to take it down, because I know that drives everybody crazy when I forget to do that. This is the name of the group. Linda Dolke's private Stampin' VIP group. That is on, that's the group on Facebook. Yes, you can join that. Okay, anyone in Australia can join that one. If you're not in Australia, then I've been adding those people to my email list, but I'm not able to have them in the group because sometimes we have things in there that are Australia specific. So that's the reason why I do that. All right, so the toss-up now for me is either these beautiful purples and pinks, purples and blues, or the green. I like them both, but I think maybe this is the winner. Yeah, we happy with that? Let's pull all these out, and I feel like I shuffled them. It's like playing cards. I've shuffled them. They're certainly not in order now, that's for sure. All right, so I've actually cut this down to the size of the die itself. And like I said, I'm going to have to cut down my white piece of paper. So let me see how wide this is. This is slightly more than 10.2 centimeters by 13.9. That's what that is. So I will measure this to be the same. So 13.9. And you would, if you were in the US, you would measure this piece. So this piece in the US is 4 inches by 5.5. Okay, that's your finished card front size. Right, so this one is going to go behind here. I think that's rather lovely. And there's a couple of ways we can attach this. All right. The smart way to attach it, I can't, because I've already passed the time to do it. But if I was to cut this with an adhesive sheet on the back and peel the backing off so that then the back becomes sticky, that is the easiest way of all. But we have a couple of other choices. We can grab a what do you call this? A sponge. Goodness me. Oh, the end of the day. Maybe I'm just not at my best. So you could either just go around and use some Tombow in your, in the bigger parts where there's a bit more real estate. I would also zip all the way around. Now, the good thing about Tombow is it takes a little bit to dry, so you have a little bit of time to work with it. And I'm doing this on a silicone mat. Another must-have. Probably another gateway product, this one. And I think some of our adhesives are gateway products too, because really super useful. All right. Now, you could then go around and put your glue in the bigger spaces, or you could do what you guys have probably seen me do before. Dump a little bit of Tombow on our silicone mat. Stops us getting a big mess all over the place. Pick it up with your sponge and actually zip around and use the sponge over the various parts of the design. Now, I did actually think about cutting this design down, and I ended up not doing it. But if I was going to do that, I could easily cut. So I cut around these flowers and the leaves and then have half the paper showing. That would be really nice too. In fact, I'm kind of wishing I did do that, but it's too late now because my glue's on it. So, oh well. So you can see that's going to stick down quite nicely. And some of you would have seen me do that with vellum in our vellum class recently. For anyone who's wondering, the vellum class tutorials are available to purchase. So you can get yourself some of those. This is going to go on here. All right, so because this backing is the same size as the die piece, I'm just going to attach this straight onto my basic white card base. And I'm going to pop that down the bottom there. So I've got roughly the same at the bottom and the two sides. Now you'll notice the top is longer, so I'm going to have to cut that down. It's only a little bit of cutting. There we we go. And that's just fine. That's perfect. All right. So you wouldn't need to do a lot to this. We could just add a greeting. In fact, I would be tempted to add a vellum piece. And I'm thinking, I've got a vellum circle here. I'm wondering if I could maybe do that. And, you know, then I could have a greeting over the top here. That would look really nice with the vellum. And you really can't even see the vellum until you get up close. But if I was going to do that, because the vellum is so subtle, I would consider colouring the vellum. Now, the other thing I could do, and I didn't think about this before, but I could also get my the two-tone, the fancy Flora dies. What are they called? No, something fancy. That's what they're called. And I'm wondering if I've actually got them handy or whether I might need to skip those tonight. But something fancy are really nice dies because they've got like square shapes and they're lovely. So am I going to do those? No, maybe I won't. I'll just stick with my circle tonight. I don't want to be fussing around looking for it for too long, but that would be a nice shape to use. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go with my fresh freesia. And I'm going to grab a blending brush. And I'm going to pick up some fresh freesia ink with my blending brush. Another gateway product, guys. So I'm sort of trying to tell you tonight about some of the really super useful products that you'll be so glad that you have in your collection. Blending brushes are definitely another one. And did you guys know that in our latest mini catalogue, we have small blending brushes? Those are super cute. Look how cute they are. They're little. They're so cute. And they're really handy for doing this kind of thing as well because, you know, they're small and you don't need to worry about going too close to the edges with those. So they're good. All right, so now I've got a bit of colour here on my vellum and that's going to show up more. Can you see that? So that might be the go. And then I've also got a white banner. This is from the style. These are both from the Stylish Shapes dies. I think everyone knows they're my favourite dies. They're your gateway die cut set. Is everyone with me what I mean about the gateway products? You knowing what I mean? All right. Yes, you could use the adhesive back layer and use it as a stencil. Sorry, Shirley, I didn't see your comments. I just realised I've missed a few comments. I'm sorry about that. Turn it sideways like you originally had it. Oh, okay. We're still talking about that was about the DSP. See how many comments I missed? Goodness me. I get all involved in what I'm doing. Now, John Andrew, is this actually John or is this somebody else pretending to be John? But hello, either way. All right, so let's see. We've got two-tone Flora, but you notice the two-tone Flora set, and you notice the two sets complement each other really well because the two-tone Flora set does not have any sentiments. But the Something Fancy one does. Okay, so we have this happy birthday here, and it's nice and long and thin. So that's the perfect one to pop on this little banner here, right? So let me... And you know what? I'm going to go with a darker color because I think the freesia is a little light. And I'm going to pop this happy birthday here. And I'm going to whack it here on this little block. So this is block G, this little guy, which is great for small sentiments. So like I said, I'm going to pick a darker color. So I'm going to go up to Orchid Oasis because there is a little bit of Orchid Oasis showing in this design. So I think that's nice. Oh, that's okay. That's fine, Shirley. We'll see you. Hopefully you can watch the replay tomorrow, maybe. Maybe. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to test this on my grid paper and make sure it's straight. Ooh, the Y seems to be a little higher. So what I'll do now that I know that is I will put this on here and angle my wide down ever so slightly. That works pretty well. All right, so let's whack a couple of dimensionals behind here. I think it's going to need some ribbon. And I was wondering, does it need a stamped image? What do you guys think? Do we need to add a flower or some little flowers? I mean, maybe we don't. Maybe the flowers that we have on our die, maybe that's enough. But I always like to think about whether or not it might need something like that. All right, so this is how this is looking. It is a beautiful, isn't it a beautiful die? It's just so stunning. All right, we could put this up on dimensionals. I could add some more dimensionals behind here and have it lifted, or I can put it straight down. That's another choice we can make. And then I've also got just ribbon, says Chris. Looks nice now, says Rose. Let me have a little look. Oh no, is it hot in the shed? Nicole, did you find them and were they okay? That's the question. So the question now is, what color shall we just go with? White. Oh, there's a dimensional back. We can just go with white. I think the white on white does look really nice. We could go, that's my white seam binding ribbon. I can also color that. Like I could color it Fresh Freesia if we wanted to have a Fresh Freesia ribbon there. Also, we have sparkle ribbon, and the sparkle is very nice. So I'm going to tie both, and then you guys can tell me which one you prefer. So I'm just going to pull the loops out. You don't want the loops to be too big when you're adding a bow, because otherwise your bow can overwhelm your card design, and that never looks good. You want your bows to be pretty small. Not so small that you don't notice it, but not overwhelm, you know? So it's about getting that balance right. Little bling maybe. I think so, Jody. I think you're right. This ribbon has a little bit of bling by being sparkly ribbon. Right, so maybe, you know, this one is nice to be able, it's soft, and it also is nice to color. You can color this as well. So that's another option. We could color, we could leave it white, or we could color our sparkly ribbon Fresh Freesia. That's another nice option. One small flower in the vellum circle, maybe? Yeah, maybe. That might be good. It's hard to tell. It's, you know what, I think it's an art, knowing when to stop. What do you guys think? I think so. And sometimes I'm just gonna put this on flat, and I'm applying my adhesive directly behind where the banner is. And I'm going to put that right about here so I can see this flower. And I'm going to line this up with my grid paper, my card, and make sure that my banner is straight. Okay. You like the sparkle? Bling, no ribbon. Oh, there's lots of opinions tonight, and that's awesome. All right, I'm cutting the ribbon, and if I don't use it on this card, I will use it on another card, so it doesn't matter. Certainly won't be wasted. So that's what the ribbon looks like. Can you see it? It's got that blingy in the middle. Now, I'm deciding, we have a few choices for bling. We could go iridescent pearls. Pearls would be nice, I think. Maybe pearls are the go. We have iridescent rhinestones, which have got that purple and the blue in them, so that would work. And then we also have my other new favorite. Let me just find them. So I love them. We've got these little guys. Actually, I was just thinking I've used up all the blue ones on there, but the blue would be nice. Let me just quickly grab another brand new pack. So the blue that is in here would go nicely with this. So here we go. We've got some people saying bling, no ribbon. And we've got some people saying love the ribbon. Ooh, it looks like I'm just going to have to choose tonight because there's too many opinions all going different ways. Let's go back and have a look and see who was flat and bling, said Margaret Griffith. Ribbon, just ribbon, said Leslie. All right, and the other thing that was a possibility was some little flowers. So let's have a little look. We've got some. These are really beautiful. I really love this this set. We've got some lovely, lovely flowers, and they are gorgeous. So let's pop a couple on onto some blocks and see. And I'm going to grab some white. Here we go. And I'm going to start with the fresh freesia flowers. And then we've got these little guys. These are the details. So the way these stamps work is you have the stamp and then the detail for the stamp. The stamp and the detail, the stamp and the detail, the stamp and the detail, which is the one I'm using right now. So they start out looking kind of basic, but then when you add the detail, they look amazing. Really, really amazing. So let me just see how these are going to go. And being see-through makes it easier to see them. Can you see that? Really cute. And let me do this other little flower. I like this one too. And I might pop that one. I think that one's going to fit just here. It will on an A block. I've got a couple of A blocks. So let me do the stamp and then the detail. Who likes two-step stamping? I am a big fan of two-step stamping because you can get some really nice effects with it. All right, so the outside layers of this one meet up with the outside layers of this flower. So you kind of just, as long as you can get those two kind of lined up, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect, but it just adds depth and dimension to the flower. That one's a little bit more accurate than this one. And then, of course, we have the dies, and the dies match up with these. So we have this one that matches that, and this one, just got to get it in the right spot. I think that's it. Yeah, there we go. That matches that one. All right, so let me grab my machine. And because it's easier, I'm still using my blue machine, even though I know you can't get it anymore, but how fantastic it was. That was such a good special. I know I shouldn't talk about it now, but it was so good. You know what, though? Joining is always a good special. Joining is, you don't just join because it's a great special. You join for a whole bunch of other reasons. And for me, my favorite reason, I mean, I have a hard time picking just one, but my favorite reason I would say is all the awesome, wonderful people I have met because of Stampin' Up. And that's the truth. It has just been such a wonderful community, and all of you guys right here are just some of those people. I would not know you all if not for this awesome, awesome thing. Here we go. Pop that there. And then I'll pop my other one on top. Now, do you remember what I told you the other week about that E? About making the way you put the plates through? If you missed that, we talked about it over the last few weeks, and you could probably go back to a couple of my previous lives where I show how to get the plates lined up so they always go through easily. And this is something I'm really trying to work on, is making sure that these videos, these Friday and Sunday night videos, are full of tips and full of ideas to help you get the best out of your stamping, because that's what I want. I want to give you guys, I want you to feel like you're getting good value. All right, so we've got these flowers. I mean, I could have just stopped right where I was, added bling or a ribbon and left it at that. But let's have a little look. I feel like maybe I know, oh, that does look rather cute. I think instead of a ribbon, we'll have the stamps, and I'm going to put just a little bit of a blob of Tombow right in the middle here, and I'm not putting it all the way around because I might decide to add, if I decide to add some leaves or something, I can still tuck those in underneath. Now this guy needs a dimensional behind it, so let's pop that here, and that way it can kind of a little bit go over. There we go, that looks good. Now the question is, do we need leaves? Do we need them? I don't really want to incorporate any green in. If I was going to add leaves, I would add maybe silver or gold. I could still put a ribbon here if I wanted to, but I'm thinking maybe we just go with the bling. Let's go with the blue bling from this gorgeous set. So these are the iridescent pastel gems that I was talking about. I love them. Look at those awesome colors, and they go with nearly everything. So let's go with the blue on here because we can. And I'm going to add. The other thing I could do is add, I could add that in the middle. No, then I don't think that looks right either. Or if I use the little guy in the middle, maybe. What do you guys think? Do we like it in the center of the flower? Just a bit of bling like that. I don't think we need a ribbon anymore. What do you guys think? I know, it's the best bling we've had for ages, right? And I just love these. So if you're looking for these, they are, let me show you. Ugh. They are part of that suite, all right? So everything in this suite is just lovely. And it's, there they are right there. All right, so those are the iridescent pastel gems. They're $14 and they're a pack of 90. Okay, you get 90 gems, 30 of each color. The other thing that I could have used is the, there's not really any pool party on this. There is that pool party ribbon. I'm just going to show it to you. I'm not going to add it to the card, but I want to show you what I like about this. This is lovely. It's grosgrain ribbon, okay. Really, can you see the texture of that? Or let's see if we can see it. There you go. You can probably see a little bit now, right? So that's really nice. But when I feel like this is lovely, but when I feel it's too solid or too heavy on my project, I go to this one. This is the Pool Party sheer ribbon that's in the annual catalog, and I use this a lot. All right, this is gorgeous ribbon, because it's lovely and light, looks really lovely, ties really easily. It's really, really nice. So if you're looking for a lighter version of ribbon, this one is in the annual catalogue. And don't forget, our annual catalogue is going to be retiring very soon. I did notice, I always try and check if I remember. See how nice that ties? It's just lovely. All right, you could do, this ribbon would look very nice on here. All right, probably not with this embellishment, but it would look nice. Look, see, it does look rather good. So I'll take back what I said about not having Pool Party on here. I think it would actually look really nice, but this one would be too heavy. So there you go. All right, I'm going to call that finished. I'm going to get rid of these, pop them back where they belong before I lose them, because you know I will, right? And here's the other one. I'm going to call that one finished. I know, Pool Party ribbon is divine. Pool Party is actually the color I am seriously hoping that they don't get rid of. And if they do decide to get rid of Pool Party, when we have a redo of colors this year, I will be very sad, and I'll need to have a Pool Party goodbye party. A pool goodbye party. That's what we'll need. So I don't know about you guys, but I get sad when my favorite colors go. But, you know, that's just life, isn't it? And there's other colors coming in that are just beautiful. Right, so let me get this back to, why is that all crooked again? Did I bump it? Ah, there we go. All right, so that's one. Let's have a quick play. I'm going to bring in, so we have, next Sunday, or sorry, no, next Friday or Sunday, probably Friday night, I've ordered some more new products from the online exclusives. So the whole deal with the online exclusives is that we have new products right now that have just turned up in our online store. And a few people have said to me, you know, where are they? Are they going to be in a catalog? Are they, you know, in a current catalog? No, they're not. That's why they're called online exclusives, because that's the only place you can get them. Now, you can get them through a demonstrator. You can order them in person. You don't have to do it online. So if you don't do online shopping, you certainly can go through your demonstrator for it, but you can't see them in a catalog. And even our flyers. So this is the flyer for the online exclusives that we had from last month, because we, as demonstrators, were able to get some product early. And these are the products we could get. We could get the Irresistible Blooms bundle, which is the stamps and the dies. So the stamps and the dies, they're really, really beautiful. Love them. Then the DSP, which is divine. The loose dots. Now, those 4 items make up a suite that you can buy with one code if you want to, or you can just purchase the bits you want. And then there was 3 other items. I only bought the 2. The naturally gilded paper and the basic embossing folders. There is also a classic letters stamp set that's great if you're a scrapbooker or you'd like to, you know, put little messages on your cards, that kind of thing. So these are really nice as well, but I don't have those yet. But these 2 I do. And I showed you a couple of things we did before with the embossing folders. The naturally gilded paper is absolutely divine. I love it. I've made a few projects with it already, and it's just so, so, so pretty. Really, really stunning. Now, this is all we knew about until the 1st of March when the online exclusives went up online in our online stores. And there is so much more in there. I did not know that they were going to bring out all the things. Ah, yes, you are right. That's true. That is true. But, you know, there are advantages to both, being a hobby demonstrator or being something a bit more than that. And I could still play with old colors if I wanted to. Of course I can in my own free time. But because I'm showing you guys, I'm only going to play with what you can actually, because there's nothing I hate more than playing with a retired product. And I had this happen to me in the past and went, you know what, I'm not doing that anymore. Because I played with retired products and then people would say, where can I get that? You know, and I'd have to say, I'm so sorry, we don't have it anymore. And I hated letting people down, and I hated telling people that we no longer had the products that they so badly wanted. So I only play with current products because they're the ones that you can actually get. So I hope that that makes sense. For me, there's a lot of advantages to doing this a little bit more than as a hobby. So I started out as a demonstrator. I always wanted to make a little bit of money from it. I didn't want to make a lot of money. I wasn't thinking it was going to be my full-time job, but that all changed along the way. So these days I definitely do it as a business, as a job, because that's what I want. I love working with Stampin' Up. I love that they keep bringing out all these amazing, beautiful products for me to show to people, and I get to do things like this, which is a heap of fun. So everyone's different, but I'm not going to tell you that it's not a ton of work to do what I do. It is absolutely, but I'm not complaining about it, because when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. So for me, it's a love, definitely a love thing. But you know, I also know that I'm one of the fortunate few that have been able to you know, do a lot of the things that I have done with Stampin' Up. So I get that that it's not, you know, not everybody wants to work that hard. I get it. But the rewards are there for the people who do. So there you go. All right, so I thought I would play with these again, and I'm just going to do a really, really simple card with some of the beautiful paper that we have. So this paper is called Hello Irresistible, and I have got lots and lots of favorite things. The thing about the paper that everybody noticed first was that we have 2 colors in here that are not part of Stampin' Up's regular color swatch. So our color families have been the same now for the last 5 years, but there's 2 new colors in here that are past in colors. There's Lost Lagoon, which is a greeny blue, and I would say Pretty Peacock, which is more of a bluey green. So they're both kind of in that aqua kind of area, but they are like, this card has, this piece of paper's got both. And this one reminds me of a scene I saw someone do, and I was very tempted to do it tonight, but I can't remember who it was, so I can't give them credit. But the card that I saw had this background, and then they'd used the sea turtle. They had the sea turtle, which is quite a large stamp, as you can see. They had him swimming here in the background, and it did really look like he was swimming in the ocean with these beautiful underwater sea kelp or something like that. So there you go. And you get your play money from selling cards at markets. That's a great idea, Nicole. Yeah, good on you. Yep, I find markets are a lot of work. And I don't always, for me personally, I don't always get the return that I want on them. So I don't do very many markets. I do better doing things like this. So the thing I like about these is that these match the dies. And I think I have showed you this before. So if this is repeating for some of you, I'm sorry. But for those who haven't seen it, these match up. Okay, so you can cut these out, which means if you don't have the stamps, but you have the dies, you can still use the paper and use them up in that way. The advantage of stamps, of course, is that they last forever and ever. The DSP will eventually run out, but the stamps won't. So that is the reason. Now, on the backs of these, they've got some really nice, more generic designs. So this is a trend that Stampin' Up pretty much follows all the time. So one side will have a more detailed design, and the back will have something a little bit more abstract or a little bit more less busy. I actually really like those. I think that's nice. I'm going to pull that one out. And for those of you, my friend Susan was telling me that, I like that one too. And see on the back of that one, we've got that nice grid kind of, looks like a matrix, doesn't it? Very nice though. And I love the diagonal crisscross. That's really nice. And on the back, we've got kind of, looks almost like clouds. So yeah, you can have a lot of fun with these. They give you a lot of different types of designs. And as you can see, I've cut some of the flowers out of the paper. And also some of the leaves also. So these leaves also cut out with the dies as well. So yeah, it's very, very usable. This color, this light green, is called Soft Seafoam. So this is from our Subtles range. I did ask on my private group the other day, I asked people what color would they hate to see go? What color would they most miss? And we had lots of people commenting on that. So I'm going to ask you guys again. It is beautiful paper, Jody. It's really lovely. It was lovely with the turtle. I thought, what a nice idea. Why didn't I think of that? You know what, Leslie? You said you didn't retire until you were 69. I have no intention of resigning ever. Ever. I just plan on doing this. Always. I hope I always can. Because for me, it's like I said, when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. And I can still, you know, earn a reasonable income and still go on trips and things like that, and that makes it worth it for me. So I just realized this is not a piece of Whisper White Thick, that is a piece of Basic White. So let me grab a piece of Whisper White Thick. Now I did do a card, the card I showed you before, the ones with the 4, where is it? Let me find it. I put it away, but the one with the 4 pool party embossed rectangles, I'm going to do something similar, but I'm going to do it with the paper. and I'll give you the measurements as we go so you know how to recreate that for yourself. All right, so and this would work whether we do it. I'll try and give you the measurements in both metric and imperial for those who are watching from overseas. So let me see, will I go with this? All right, so I'm making my cuts at the 4 centimeter mark, so around about 1.5 inches. I'm going to do 2 pieces, and I'm cutting at the length of this because I want these long. I'm wondering if I'll go with them all the same or if I'll change them. I might decide to go with the other side. We'll see. And I'm going to make this, I think it's 6, yeah, 4 centimeters by 6 centimeters, so 1.5 inches by 2.25 inches, guys, because your cardstock is a little shorter than ours, so that's going to work. So these are 6 centimeters by 4 centimeters, and metric will be 1.5 by 2.25. Right, and then we've got 4 of them, and I haven't decided whether I'm going to pull in another color or not. So basically what happens here is we've got 2 that sit next to each other and 2 that sit next to each other. Now I am tempted to use the other side, so let's see, maybe I'll go with that. And I'm going to use the reverse side. Right, so we're just going to have them going like this. Now, if you have a corner rounder, you could round off either the 4 outer corners. That would look nice. But another nice look is to round off opposite corners. All right, so I don't have, let me see. We don't have a corner rounder currently. We had the trio punch until fairly recently. That's now gone. So currently we don't have a corner rounder. But if you are doing rounding off corners, I would round the corner one and the middle, and the corner one in the middle, corner one in the middle, and corner one in the middle, and then put them back together. And it's a really nice look. Okay, but I'm just going to keep it like this time. I could put these on dimensionals if I wanted to, but I'm not. I'm just going to have them, and I'm going to put this so that I've got my center line right here, which just helps me line everything up. So I'm going to put these straight on. And if there are other pieces in here, we could cut up other parts of the paper and use different, matching colors. But I'm just going to stick with this one little bit tonight. And the most important thing is you want the same amount of distance from each side. So that'll inform how big your gap is in the middle. It almost looks like a window, doesn't it? Oh, now that reminds me of something really important that I need to share with you. I have a newsletter coming out tomorrow. If you're not on my newsletter list, head over to my blog. I'll pop it on the screen right now so you can see it. Head over there and sign up to be in my customer newsletter, okay? Because that's where I have announcements. I also put tips and ideas. I've half written tomorrow's newsletter. I'll finish it off and get it out tomorrow. There's some tips in there, but there's also some announcements about what's coming up, and that includes my next craft along. Okay, so the next craft along is going to be window cards. I don't think I told anybody that yet, but that will also be detailed in the newsletter. So it'll be all about window cards, different types of window cards. I love a good window card, so that'll be this month's theme. And I'm changing the day this time because I have something else on in the week before and the week after, and I thought, right, it'll just be easier for me to to do that. So what I thought I would do this time around is do it on Thursday. Now I need to double check I've got the date right, but I believe it's Thursday the 30th. Does that sound right? The 30th, so Thursday the 30th of March? Yes, that is correct. So instead of being a Saturday like it normally is, I'm doing it at Thursday at 2 p.m. If you cannot watch, don't worry, okay? Doesn't matter. If you can't watch, you can always watch the replay. And if you get you're getting a supply pack. Now, if you ordered with me in February and your order was over $60, you will get a supply pack from me to make up the project that we're making that day. So, yeah, there you go. Yes, you could alternate. You definitely could. Nicole, I see you're commenting there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, so the card that I did earlier, if I move a couple of things, I'm going to find it. It's the one with the different embossed pieces that I had out on the table. You did, well, I did show it to you, didn't I? I'm sure I did. So the reason last time I had my greeting down here on the bottom one, and I had a vellum circle and then another circle inside and a bit of ribbon, and it looked really nice. For this one, I'm thinking about doing my sentiment in the middle. Okay, so for that, I'm going to need to cut a circle, and I'm going to need my good old stylish shapes dies, which are my absolute favorite. These are my gateway dies. Absolutely, you can see I definitely need to do something about the packaging. All right, so this might be a, you know what, I was going to say that might be too big, but I think a vellum circle, that would be okay. And then this one's going to go on the inside. So that's how we're going to do. We could also have a banner going across like we did before, but I think this time it'll be nice with this. So let me grab my machine in again. And oh my goodness, tonight I have stuff everywhere, more than usual, guys. I am all over the place tonight. Don't know what's wrong with me. Never mind. Just the way it goes. Anybody else find that you're like that? Please tell me yes, because you'll make me feel better. And if I cannot find it in the next 10 seconds, what I did with my plates, then we're going to use the big machine instead. Thankfully, I have backup. Oh, we're getting nearly through our 10 seconds. Okay. As soon as I move this, I'll find them. Oh, that's okay. All right, so I've got a bit of vellum here. I've got my larger one. I'm going to pop that right there. Wind that through. Oh, well, you probably heard the story, Jamie, that I lost my, actually I'm going to need to cut some wide as well, so I'll leave that here for a second, that I lost my glasses last month, and thankfully I was due for new ones anyway, and I needed an eye test, so it wasn't the end of the world, but I'm still sad that I lost them because I really liked those glasses. And they still haven't shown up. So I have this horrible feeling that maybe what happened when I got out of the car, maybe they were on my lap and they fell out. That's all I can think of, because they're certainly not anywhere here. Mind you, I'm very happy to be proven wrong and would be really happy if they show up. All right. Let's see. Smaller and smaller, and yes, I know, Colleen, I'm the same. Yeah, did you see we have some circle punches coming back? Did you see that? So Donna's made a really good point. In the online exclusive, we have 2 circle punches making a very welcome return. Now, before I go on with this, so I've cut these 2 out, right? Before I go on with this, I don't have Pretty Peacock ink, which is what I would want to use with this, okay? But my friend Susan was saying to me that Evening Evergreen stamped off makes a really close match. So let's try that, shall we? And what will we have on here? So we have, let me see. I'm deciding which one I would like. I think the Hello would be good. And now I've misplaced my stamp set. Goodness, guys. Thank you for your patience with me. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. I'm worse than usual. Susan has that game she plays where she says, found it. Oh, found it. Here it is. So I'm thinking for this size, the Hello would be really good. Or Hooray, It's Your Day would also work. Shall we have Hello? Or shall we have Hooray, It's Your Day? Whoever guesses first. Actually, you know what? I don't think I've put the Hooray, It's Your Day together. You still have your Pretty Peacock things? Yeah, I sold mine. Sold mine to make way for new stuff. And I'll do that again. I'll sell whatever I have to make way for whatever's new. Hello, says Margaret. Okay. All right. So hello it is. And I'm going to pop that back in there for now because the hello is ready. So let's do that. Pop that here. And we're going to go Evening Evergreen. And let's see how dark it is because it is quite dark. And then when we go again, it's not bad. That will work. All right. All right. So just checking that I haven't got extra ink on there. I'm going to stamp it off by stamping it here first and then onto my circle. Yep, it's not bad. That's going to match. Okay. I'm all right with that. It's not perfect. It's certainly more green than, it doesn't have any blue in it, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. Cookie. Goodness me. It's like he's been doing this a bit lately, hasn't he? I did have someone say the other night that he's very distracting. So my apologies. But we're nearly finished. And he's been good up until now. All right, so this is going to go here in the middle. I think I like it. Do I want it to be up or shall I put it flat? Ah, you know what? Let's put some more dimensions on. Never have enough, right? Well, you can, but I'm going to add more anyway. So yes, tomorrow I have my newsletter coming out. So please sign up onto the newsletter for more information if you would like that. And you'll find that on the blog. All right, it definitely needs some sort of bling. Here's my, you know what, that doesn't look bad. The pool party, I wouldn't have thought to put those together, but that actually works. Shall we put the pool party ribbon on? Let's do it. I would not have put pool party on here, but I guess pool party is a blue-green, so I guess that does work. And I'm going to use a glue dot to pop that on. Oh, thanks, Leslie. Well, this other lady was very nice about it. I mean, for all now, she might even be watching tonight. I don't know. But she did tell me he was very distracting, but she did say that she has a bird herself and she really likes birds, but she did find him a little distracting. And I can understand that. He's a little distracting at times. So, but we love him. There we go. All right, so definitely some bling. We could go with the gold. That might look rather nice. The blue isn't quite right. Or I can go back to my good old rhinestones. My iridescent rhinestones. What do you guys think? Does anyone have an opinion on what we should use for bling on this? Because it definitely does need some. Otherwise, it's a little basic. So it does need. Oh, I've also got silver. Because we still have these festive pearls. The silver would look nice too. So silver or iridescent. They're the choices. Here's my iridescent. You can see those. They've got all the different colours in them. And then we've got the silver ones here. There's also, these are soft succulent, which the soft succulent would actually look okay as well. Isn't it funny? We'll end up with a whole bunch of different greeny colours. So we've got Pretty Peacock, and there's some Lost Lagoon in there. Then we've got Evening Evergreen stamped off, Pool Party Ribbon, and possibly soft succulent pearls. What do we think? Silver. Gold. Rose was first, and she said gold. So I'm thinking I've got gold on here. These gold, but I think you meant these gold ones. So let's add and see how they, even though they're gold, they pick up the color that they're on. So they're really lovely. Really like these. And I'm going to put one on here. And I'm going to put one up here. I'm going to call that finished. There we go. We have a finished card. So we have two completely different cards tonight. Very different, but I like them both. I ended up abandoning my ribbon that I was thinking of putting on here, and we went with the flowers instead. And there we go. We have two very different cards. I think I'm going to move my ribbon down a little bit. It seems a little high. Of course, I've got it stuck well and surely on there. I'm going to go a little lower. That's better. That's better. Okay. Oh, I'm glad you like them, guys. That's really good. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that I love it when birdies include themselves in your life. We don't let Cookie out nearly as much as we used to because we have cats, and we have one cat that probably wouldn't care and another cat that would eat him up in a jiffy. He's a hunter, and so poor Cookie is stuck in his cage for his own good, and I come in here and close the door and let him out sometimes. So there we go. Okay, well, I'm glad you like them. Totally different cards. We did something with the new online stuff. If you haven't gone and had a look at the online exclusive stuff yet, please go and have a look. Okay, it is absolutely fantastic. Then this one here, you will love this as well. This is the beautiful two-tone Flora set and the fancy Flora bundle. Both are beautiful, but they're completely different. And if you're looking for something that you can start with, maybe this is your starting point. Maybe one of these, okay? And if you already have one of these, grab one of these because they are fantastic, right? And it's nice to know how you use them and all the things that you can do with them. So there you go. All right, guys, have a fantastic week ahead. I am back here again on Friday night, but if anyone who's on the newsletter list will hear from me tomorrow, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.